Hi, everybody. Today I want to talk about some popular strategies for summer learning that I actually would not recommend. I'm going to show you what to avoid and what to do instead to help your child keep growing over the summer. I'm Hunter Oswalt. I'm Managing Director of Read Write Learning Center, and for over a decade, I've worked with families of struggling readers and kids with dyslexia. I've seen a lot of mistakes over the summer, and I want to help you avoid those things and instead maximize this time for summer learning. Here's mistake number one: worksheets and workbooks. Why are these so popular? Well, that's easy. These are very easy for teachers to assign at the end of the school year. It's also easy for a parent to pick up at the Dollar Tree or Books A Million. It seems like a structured way to keep kids sharp. And I think most parents are looking for something their kids can do independently while the parents are working or doing other things around the house. But here's the problem with worksheets and workbooks. If you're a struggling learner, these are just not engaging. And when kids are bored, when they get frustrated by these, they're very unmotivated to do them. And you're going to get a lot of resistance from the kids. Also, worksheets and workbooks, they're not multisensory. And kids that are struggling readers, especially kids with dyslexia, they really benefit from a multisensory approach. They need instructional methods that get them moving, that they can visually see and interact with. They need to use all of their senses when they're learning to help establish new neural pathways. And lastly, but very importantly, worksheets and workbooks with a struggling reader can also lead to them practicing incorrectly. If they don't have a grown up, a tutor, a teacher sitting right there with them, helping make sure that they are getting answers correct, they can end up just practicing the wrong thing. This is not beneficial. Think about if you have a bad golf swing, but you spend all summer playing tons of golf with the wrong golf swing. By the end of the summer, you could actually be worse off than you were at the beginning of the summer. And this can happen when kids are left to do things independently that they're not really ready to master. Instead of workbooks and worksheets, we recommend that kids get direct instruction that is multisensory in nature. The best case scenario for this is for them to work with professional tutors like the services offered at ReadWrite. You can also incorporate some of these at home if you're a parent. Pretty simply, if you're using a worksheet or a workbook, make sure you pre-teach the skill with your child first to make sure they understand it and they remember it well enough to practice independently. You can also make it more multisensory by doing things like cutting out words and letting kids glue them on the blank instead of copying them down in blanks. You can let them use tokens or even an M&M or a piece of cereal to select the correct answer instead of circling the correct answer in a workbook. These types of things can make the workbook activities more multisensory and more engaging for your child. Of course, it's more work for you as a parent, but it does really pay off. Here's mistake number two: really demanding that your struggling reader do a lot of independent reading. Why is this popular? Well, things like reading logs, library reading challenges, accelerated reader challenges, these are all popular because they encourage the habit of wide reading. And this is something that strong readers do. They love to read and they read a lot. And there are lots of benefits to wide reading. It helps kids build their vocabulary, it helps kids build their background knowledge and their love of reading. So, what could go wrong? Well, if you're a struggling reader and your teachers and your parents say, okay, you need to read a bunch of books this summer. We need to read one book a week. What are you going to do? You're probably going to go to the library or the bookstore and you're going to pick a big fat book because it looks cool. It looks like what your friends read or maybe your older brother or sister read. And you're going to get that big book even though you really can't read it successfully independently. So when it comes time to read that book, you're just kind of going to stare at it, look at the pictures, you're going to skip a bunch of words, you're going to guess a bunch of words. You're not going to really get anything out of it. it can be very frustrating. It can be defeating for kids. Even if they, say, oh, yeah, I enjoy reading this book, maybe it's Diary of a Wimpy Kid, has some cool pictures in it. Um, it's not really helping them become a better reader because they're skipping so many words and they're guessing so many words. It just turns into guessing practice. So, how can we make independent reading more useful for a struggling reader? Well, independent reading, if it's something that they can decode, can be very useful. But if it's a struggling reader, we want to make sure that this is something that is on their independent level. Ideally, it would be a specialized decodable book that is aligned to the skills they're learning in school or through tutoring. And if a student is involved in a program like Read Write, we can help you know what decodable books your student would be ready for. And after they've been in tutoring for 6 to 12 months, they likely will be ready to go to the library and tackle a book of their choice. And that's a very exciting time, but we just don't want to rush that before kids are really ready. We would love for kids to get the benefit of wide reading in the summer from vocabulary, background knowledge, all of those good things. But the best way to do that, if you're not yet reading on grade level, is to listen to audiobooks. We call this ear reading, and you get all the benefits of independent reading while getting support in figuring out those words. So that is a great tool. I can't emphasize enough how important and impactful getting some specialized summer intervention and tutoring can be. The pressure is off kids a little bit in the summer. They don't have as much homework, they don't have as many activities. Their brains just have more space to breathe and to take in instruction. So, if at all possible, I highly recommend getting some specialized tutoring intervention from a place like Read Write in the summer. So let's skip that stack of workbooks. You can skip the stressful reading log and go straight for targeted, supported learning instead that will really help your child. If you're looking to help, we'd love to talk more with you about what we have to offer. You can visit us at readwritelearningcenter.com or check out any of our summer programs to get started.